We start.
All right, cool. All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go over the Ichimoku Cloud indicator. We're just going to go over basic strategies, how it's used, a bit of the calculations, and how we can use it to improve our swing trading. So let's get right to it. So this cloud or this indicator is composed mainly of 5 different lines. So I'm going to go through each of them, and then I'm going to show you guys how to use them to your advantage and how to use them with other indicators to make better trading decisions in the market. Yeah, where it says plots, that 10 can line, that is going to be our conversion line. So just the English, this is in Japanese, so I just want to give you the English version. So that's going to be our shortest period moving line. So think of it as like a very short exponential moving average or like a short moving average. So that's going to be our conversion line. And then the Kijun is going to be our baseline, right? So on this chart, our conversion line is going to be in blue and our baseline is going to be in red. Can you guys hear this?
I can hear it.
You can hear it? All right, I think it's just one of you guys who can hear it. All right, cool. So yeah, like I was saying, the blue line's conversion and our red line is going to be our baseline. Then we're going to have our span A line, which is one of our leading lines. And then we're going to have our span B, right? So these two lines are basically going to form the cloud in the Ichimoku Cloud indicator. So if you guys are watching the chart, right, whenever our leading span A is above our leading span B, then we're going to have a yellow cloud, which is going to be bullish. And if we have if our cloud is red, that means that our leading span A is below our leading span B, which means we are in bearish sentiment, right? Does that make sense so far? Just let me know in the chat if you have any questions, because this indicator is a lot, so I do want to go over everything. All right, cool. Let me just draw on the screen. So this line over here, this little jagged line, right? That's going to be our lagging span, right? Or the Chico span in Japanese. So that's going to be our lagging span. And basically all this line does is it follows the exact closing prices of the candles, right? So this line right here is mirroring this price action right here, right? Except it's only doing it 26 candles in the past, right? That's why we call it lagging, right? It lags behind 26 candles. So on a daily chart, and obviously right here is 26 days before our current candle. All right, so that's the basics of the cloud. That's how all the lines work. As far as calculations go, I don't really think that's important. I mean, for all of you math people out there, just really quickly, I know leading span A is going to be a conversion line plus our baseline divided by 2, if that matters to you. And then a leading span B, I believe it's going to be a 52 period, 52 periods plus 52 period low divided by 2, right? So it's going to take the last 52 candles, take the high, and then take the lows of those candles, add them together, and divide it by 2. And that's how you get those lines. And if you guys notice, this cloud will also project the cloud 26 days in the future, right? So our lagging span is 26 days behind. This is the present right here, and then this cloud right here is going to be 26 days in the future, at least on the daily chart. So how do we use this? Well, basically, all of these lines right here represent different functions in this indicator. And I just want to show you guys the different tricks and how people use this indicator to make better trading decisions. So first things first, technical analysts agree that whenever the price and our candles are above the cloud, whether it's green, whether it's yellow or red, it might be green on TradingView and other charting software, but whenever the price is above this cloud, you are in an uptrend and you are bullish, right? So everything starting here up until we get to right here is considered bullish, right? And that's because we are above this cloud right here, right? And conversely, if you are below the cloud, then you are bearish, right? So right here, Apple is bearish, And that's pretty much about it on a daily chart, right? This Apple doesn't really spend very long below the cloud historically, right? So a lot of you guys might be saying, hold on a second, well, Apple has been selling off, nonstop since its 130, high 130s range. But for the purposes of the cloud, um, you know, Apple doesn't really stay below it for very long, right? So this could be actually a sign that we might be reversing very soon, just looking historically, right? Um, and obviously on different time frames, you're going to get different lines because they're all calculated per candle and not not per day. So if you guys go on a 30-minute chart for Apple or any other time frame, you guys are going to see Apple fall below the cloud a lot sooner. Like for example, I mean, I know it's a little messy on smaller time frames, but like right here, we fell below the cloud, and you could have stayed in this trade all the way up until right there. You could have re-entered down here and stayed in the trade up until we went back to the cloud here. I mean, obviously, this wouldn't have been the best short entry, but you might have taken profit somewhere down here or even around here. So this indicator is pretty good. Whenever we do break below or break above the cloud, we do tend to have strong movement. So that's just a little trick for you guys. But we can go back to the daily chart because I can show you the rest of the lines before it gets too messy. All right. So if you guys remember, the first thing I said was that we had two main lines to pay attention to, and that was the conversion line and the baseline. So if you guys forgot, our conversion line is a faster moving blue line, right? And our baseline is like our medium term line, which is in red, right? So the first thing that we look for when we consider these two lines, if you want to look for any type of crossover, right? So similar to moving averages and exponential moving averages, we always want to look for these crossovers in our lines, right? So for example, right here, our blue line crossed above a red line, and that's a buy signal, right? And right here, we crossed below, the conversion crossed below the baseline, which was a sell signal, right? There are many more of these. The buy signal right here, sell signal there, thank you. Sell signal there, right? And one important rule to follow in the Ichimoku Cloud is that when you are above the cloud, then your buy signals are much stronger. And if you are below the cloud, then your sell signals are much more relevant, right? So Apple doesn't really have any time below the cloud, so I can't show you guys an example of a strong sell signal just yet. But I just want you to know that this would be considered a strong buy signal right here. And this right here will be considered a weak sell signal, right? That's because it's a weak sell signal because we have a conversion line crossing below the slower moving baseline, but we are still in an uptrend because we are above the cloud until right there, right? So that's just some rules you guys want to follow. This works like a charm. I use it all the time. I just don't keep it on my charts when I post a chart because this can get very messy if you're trying to show someone any other type of pattern in the market. Are you guys with me so far? Let me know in the chat if I have to slow down or you guys need me to repeat anything. Yeah, I'll give you guys 30 seconds to answer. All right, cool. So the next thing and not the final piece to go over, but the next thing to go over is the lagging span. So like I told you guys, this little jagged line right here is actually exactly mirroring the price action, right? So if you guys look very closely, right here, we have this little bit of a head and shoulder pattern right there. And then if you guys compare it to the actual candles, that's exactly what happened right over around here, right? Had a little hump and it went back down. So like I said, this line is mirroring the close prices of these candles 26 periods in the past, right? So how we use this line is we just want to look for if this line is below or above the price action at the time, right? So if you guys look right here, our lagging span is below the price at this time, right? So therefore we are in bearish sentiment, right? Because it is saying that the current price right now is below where it was 26 candles ago, right? Which is more of a bearish signal. So that could have actually given more credence or more weight to this weak sell signal that was above the cloud, right? Because now that our lagging span has been trying to cross below our price, maybe by this candle, that's when this line might have started crossing under, and that could have been your ultimate sell signal. to get you in a short position or a short position to short Apple right here. And you could have made a good trade there. Like I said before, I doubt this is going to continue just because Apple doesn't spend very long below the cloud. But on smaller time frames, this will become more relevant and you will see more drastic breakouts. Question: why is it important to know what the closing price was? Like I just said, 26 candles ago, if we were in a downtrend and if the price right now is below where it was 26 candles ago, that just strengthens our downtrend, right? So this line is just telling us that, you know, I mean, obviously you can look back in the future to see if you're in a downtrend or not, because this candle is obviously lower than this one. But given the way that the Ichimoku Cloud works, it uses a 26 and 52 on those two numbers to project everything it's trying to show. And this formula has been refined over many years, right? The reason we're using the specific numbers 26 and 52 is because, sorry, right? Because if you guys look here, like I said before, we're projecting 26 in the future and we're projecting 26 in the past, right? So if you add 26 together, 26 plus 26, that'll give you 52. And that's just, I mean, this can be anything. It could be 13 and 13, it could be 40 and 40. But for, I guess for technical analysts, they would read that 26 is the magic number. But yeah, to answer your question, that is why we have this line exactly 26 periods in the past. No problem, man. All right. So moving on, the last thing you guys want to know is that if your price is, stay with me here, right? If your price is below the cloud and you are projecting a red cloud over here, then this is the beginning of a bearish trend potentially, right? And if your price is below the cloud, but you haven't yet gotten a bearish signal, then that just makes it a little less relevant, right? But you still want to pay attention. So basically, this indicator just strengthens its own signals by all the different lines and signals it gives you. Like for example, like I said earlier, being in an uptrend while also having a buy signal is a lot stronger than being in a downtrend and getting a buy signal, right? Being below the cloud and getting a sell signal projected in the future is a lot stronger than just having this being below the cloud and still having a buy signal or an uptrend being projected in the future. In addition, you also still want to consider the lagging span, right? Where is a lagging span in relation to price? One mistake that a lot of people make with the lagging span is that they like to compare the area of this line to the current price, but we're actually talking about the lagging span in relation to the price where it was at the time, right? Because that will actually help you stay in the trend. There's no use comparing this lagging span to this price over here. So right now we are in bearish sentiment. We just broke below the cloud. Our conversion line is below our baseline. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the functions of the lines. Are you guys confused? Or you guys get it so far? I know it's a lot of words. I just want to make sure you guys understand everything. All right, cool. So just like any other type of moving average, you guys do want to wait. Actually, go back to the daily for a second. I just want to show you guys one more thing. As with any other type of moving average, you guys can use these lines as as dynamic support and resistance levels, right? So for example, our conversion line right here, even though we broke above the cloud, we got a weak buy signal right here. You guys can probably see how for some time Apple used the conversion line as support right there, and there's many different touches, right? And if we were in another stock that didn't only go up, you might see how the conversion line or the baseline could have acted as resistance, right? So that's a pretty good thing to consider. Just see if your stock or your price action bounces off any of those lines, and the more times you touch that line, the more relevant it is, and the bigger move you're going to have if you do break away from that trend. The very last thing about the Ichimoku Cloud that you guys need to know is that this cloud right here is actually here to project future support and resistance levels, right? So right now, this is projecting, like this line right here this is where Apple's next resistance is projected to be. Now, given that we had resistance over here, this is actually pretty accurate because it actually lines up perfectly with this right here, right there, right there. It might maybe right there, and we'll see what happens in the future. But this, the Ichimoku Cloud itself on the daily chart is projecting this to be Apple's greatest resistance right now. And obviously this line is going to move up and down as this price also changes. But for right now, at this point in time, it's projecting Apple to meet resistance here at some point in the future, right? So, if we do go in an uptrend, if we do start going up on Monday, we might end up bouncing off that level before making another breakout above the cloud. We might reject it and keep going down. We might consolidate around here and eventually break out with the stimulus news. I don't know, but the Ichimoku Cloud is very good at that, right? And on the bull side, this right here is supposed to be dynamic, support, right? So if we were in an uptrend right now, then this cloud would act as support. I don't really see much evidence of that because Apple hasn't really spent any time below the cloud, but I guess you can count right here as an area and right here, possibly here as support. We did consolidate a little bit here, so you could have gotten out once you got that sell signal and this turned bearish. I don't know which happened first, but this indicator is a lot and it will really show you a ton of data. I think there's one thing I'm missing. Oh, right. Traders agree that you never want to trade inside of the cloud. I don't remember the exact reasoning for this, but traders always say that if you are in the cloud, don't trade, period, right? Now, obviously, this is going to change depending on the time frame, right? So, like, for example, this moment in time might be in the cloud on the daily chart, but it might not be in the cloud if you're on a 15-minute chart or an hourly chart, obviously, right? But just remember that bigger time frames are more significant. So there are many, famous swing traders who will just stay away from any stock inside of the cloud. I do apologize because I don't remember the exact reasoning for why you don't want to trade inside of the cloud. I think it has something to do with the fact that this cloud is supposed to be support and resistance. So if you are in the cloud, you're basically in a consolidation area. And especially as options traders like us, we don't like consolidation, right? We just want to play breakouts and momentum. So that might be the reason, but don't quote me on it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys want to look at upper time frames or any upper tickers, then go for it. Ask in the chat. It's a pretty dense explanation of the indicator, but it does tell you a lot of information. And there are many traders who don't really use anything else but maybe RSI and the occasional MACD to determine their next move. There are many traders who just use this indicator because of how powerful it is. It does look pretty daunting at first, a lot of lines, but I have found success with it. You want to look at Square? All right, so if we ignore the cloud for a quick second, it looks like we might be rejecting this area. We did have a pretty sharp sell-off in the morning, so that could be why we might dip below this support level. In the past, Square has tended to reject the cloud. Square has not been below the cloud since September, at least September 21st. I don't think has it ever been below the cloud, probably not. But we do get that resistance, right? Sorry, support right there, support here, 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 kind of here, and kind of right there, right? So we'll see what happens next. So if you guys look at our lagging span right here, it is basically trying to cross below this price. So if Square has any more downside from here, this will be going down. And if we use our basic technical analysis, that actually does make sense because if we do have more downside, we do look to be breaking support right here with the only bounce point looking to be right down here. So yeah, if Square continues to flush, I would look for an entry down here. I don't think we're going to see anything that low personally. I do think we're going to start going back upwards. We did get a strong buy signal right here. This is on February 2nd or 3rd, whatever date it was. We did break below our conversion and baseline, but these lines still haven't crossed just yet. So we are looking very bullish on Square. I do expect the uptrend to continue, just given that we have never seen Square below the cloud since June, since May. So yeah, trend lines help, candlestick patterns help. This is a pretty bullish candle. That's a reversal pin bar in a way. Obviously, we need confirmation. The only bearish thing I see on this chart, honestly, is our MACD. Volume is still there. RSI is low. I'm a fan of this. So yeah, this looks pretty good so far, at least on the daily chart. Personally, when I swing trade, I turn off extended hours and I use the 30-minute chart. I mean, if you guys use extended hours, that's up to you. It's a personal choice. I personally think that it messed up my indicators, but that's just me, right? So if you guys are looking at Square, it's a very different picture right here, right? We're about to get a weak buy signal on Square if we keep heading upwards, but we are in a downtrend. We are projecting bearish right here. This is resistance right here for right now. So lagging span is still below our price. If we do keep going up, we might cross it if these candles go up in that direction. But I hope you guys can see that it's a very, very, very different picture on this time frame. The RSI is still low. Now the MACD is bullish. TTM is very bullish. We are actually in a squeeze. So yeah. All right. I hope you guys understood that. That was pretty loaded, but I do want you guys to get this. This cloud this cloud is pretty crazy. It works very well. It just takes quite some time to really master it. One tip I have for you guys is not to yeah, that's a nice, this looks really good right here. Yeah, one tip I have for you guys is don't try and try not to use every single thing together. Like, I gave you guys maybe 5 or 6 different conditions that need to be met to establish a trend. But sometimes it might be better to just look at the candles and see what they're showing you, right? Like this is obviously trying to continue back in its uptrend, right? This is really trying to reverse right here. Hope you guys can see that. But yeah, don't, if the lagging span is below the price, but you have like 4 other buy signals, then don't wait for the lagging span to become green to get in the trade because it might be too late, right? Do your normal charting. Levels trump everything else. Don't worry too much about all the signals. Yeah, so this is a pretty good chart. If you guys want to take a picture of this or save it, just want to remind you guys that this is the conversion line. I hope that worked out, and that's the baseline, right? So yeah, all right. That's all I have for now, guys. So I think we're gonna open up this to like a Q&A. If you want to ask us about any trading questions, anything about trading, doesn't have to be about the indicator. But we'll stick around for a couple more minutes if you guys just want to go for anything at all. Any questions about trading you've always wanted to ask, now is your time.